What if everything we know about the Great Pyramid of Giza is only part of the story? For more than 4,500 years, this monument has stood in the Egyptian desert. It has survived earthquakes, violent sandstorms, wars, and the collapse of entire civilizations. Yet even today, scientists are still making new discoveries inside it, hidden spaces, extraordinary engineering, and questions that remain unanswered. This is the story of the Great Pyramid of Giza, what we know, what we have discovered, and what still remains a mystery. For more than 4,500 years, one monument has dominated the Egyptian desert, surviving powerful earthquakes, violent sandstorms, invading armies, and the rise and fall of entire civilizations. It is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Despite centuries of exploration and decades of scientific research, it continues to surprise archaeologists and engineers alike. Many people associate the pyramids with myths about hidden treasures, lost civilizations, or even extraterrestrials. While these stories are fascinating, modern archaeology paints a different picture. The real history of the Great Pyramid is already extraordinary, and many of its greatest mysteries are based on facts, not fiction. The Great Pyramid was built during Egypt's fourth dynasty, around 2600 BC, during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, also known by the Greek name Cheops. It was originally constructed as a royal tomb and formed part of a much larger funerary complex that included temples, smaller pyramids, and cemeteries for officials and workers. When it was completed, the pyramid stood approximately 146.6 meters tall, making it the tallest human-made structure on Earth for nearly 3,800 years. Today, because its polished limestone casing stones have largely disappeared, it stands at about 138.8 meters. Its base covers more than 13 acres, and each side measures approximately 230 meters. The structure is built from an estimated 2.3 million blocks of limestone and granite. Most of these blocks weigh between 2 and 3 tons, while some granite beams inside the king's chamber weigh more than 50 tons. One of the most remarkable achievements is its precision. The four sides of the pyramid face almost perfectly toward true north, south, east, and west. Even with modern technology, reproducing this level of accuracy on such a massive scale would be an impressive engineering accomplishment. The foundation itself is also extraordinarily level, with differences of only a few centimeters across hundreds of meters. For many years, people believed that slaves built the pyramids. However, archaeological discoveries over the last several decades have changed that understanding. Excavations south of the pyramids uncovered workers' villages, bakeries, breweries, medical facilities, and cemeteries. The evidence suggests that the builders were skilled laborers who were fed, housed, and organized into rotating teams rather than enslaved workers. This discovery changed one of the oldest myths surrounding ancient Egypt. The construction of the Great Pyramid required careful planning, advanced organization, and an enormous workforce working together over many years. Even today, researchers continue studying how such an ambitious project was managed with the tools available more than 4 millennia ago. And that leads to one of the biggest questions of all. If we know who built the pyramid, when it was built, and why it was built, why do scientists still debate exactly how it was constructed? The answer begins with the stones themselves. For centuries, one question has puzzled historians, engineers, and architects around the world. How did the ancient Egyptians move millions of massive stone blocks without cranes, steel machinery, or modern technology? The answer is that no single piece of evidence explains every step of the construction. Instead, archaeologists have assembled a picture from excavations, ancient inscriptions, experimental archaeology, and engineering studies. Most of the limestone used to build the Great Pyramid came from a quarry located just a few hundred meters from the construction site. Workers cut the blocks using copper tools, stone hammers, and wooden wedges. Although copper is much softer than modern steel, it was effective when used on limestone, which is a relatively soft rock. The granite used inside the pyramid tells a different story. These enormous granite blocks came from Aswan, a city located nearly 900 kilometers south of Giza. Some of the largest blocks, especially those above the king's chamber, weigh more than 50 tons. Transporting stones of this size was an extraordinary achievement. One of the most important discoveries related to pyramid construction was made in 2013. Archaeologists discovered the diary of an ancient Egyptian official named Merer. Written on papyrus more than 4,500 years ago, it is considered one of the oldest surviving administrative documents ever found. Merer described supervising a team responsible for transporting fine white limestone from the quarries at Tura to Giza. The diary explains that the blocks were loaded onto wooden boats, carried along the Nile and a network of canals, and delivered to the construction site for the outer casing of the pyramid. This remarkable document provides the first direct written evidence from the time of Khufu, describing part of the pyramid's construction process. It confirms that Egypt possessed an organized transportation system capable of moving enormous quantities of stone efficiently. But transporting the stones was only one challenge. The next question was how workers lifted millions of blocks higher and higher as the pyramid grew. Today, the most widely accepted explanation involves large construction ramps. Researchers have proposed several designs, including straight ramps, zigzagging ramps, and spiral ramps built around the pyramid. No complete ramp has survived, which is not surprising. Most ramps were probably built from mud brick, limestone chips, sand, and rubble, materials that could easily be dismantled and reused once construction was finished. Experimental archaeology has demonstrated that groups of workers could pull multi-ton stone blocks across the sand using wooden sledges. One fascinating discovery helped explain how this was possible. Ancient wall paintings show workers pouring water onto the sand in front of the sledges. For many years, historians believed this was simply ceremonial. However, modern scientific experiments revealed something surprising. Slightly wet sand becomes firmer and reduces friction significantly. This means workers needed much less force to move heavy stones across the desert. What once appeared to be an artistic detail turned out to be a practical engineering solution supported by physics. Building the Great Pyramid did not depend on one impossible invention. It depended on thousands of skilled workers, careful planning, precise measurements, efficient logistics, and decades of coordinated effort. Yet even if archaeologists understand many parts of the construction process, important questions remain unanswered. Exactly how were the largest granite beams positioned more than 40 meters above the ground? How were the final casing stones placed with such remarkable precision? And could there still be parts of the pyramid that no human has ever entered? Those questions lead us inside the monument itself, where modern technology has revealed discoveries that no one expected. For thousands of years, explorers believed they had already discovered everything hidden inside the Great Pyramid. The known interior seemed relatively simple. Visitors entered through a narrow passage leading deep into the monument. Inside, archaeologists identified three major spaces: the subterranean chamber, carved into the bedrock beneath the pyramid; the Queen's Chamber, located near the center of the structure; and the King's Chamber, built from massive blocks of red granite. Connecting these rooms is one of the pyramid's most impressive architectural features, the Grand Gallery. Stretching nearly 47 meters in length and rising more than 8 meters high, the Grand Gallery is unlike anything found in any other Egyptian pyramid. Its steep walls narrow as they rise, creating a remarkable example of ancient engineering that has fascinated architects for generations. The King's Chamber itself contains a large granite sarcophagus. Interestingly, no confirmed royal mummy or significant burial treasures were found inside when the chamber was first explored in medieval times. Whether the tomb had been robbed in antiquity or whether the burial process was interrupted remains unknown. For centuries, archaeologists believed these rooms represented the complete interior of the Great Pyramid. But in the 21st century, technology allowed scientists to investigate the pyramid without drilling through its walls or damaging the ancient structure. One of the most ambitious research projects ever conducted at Giza began in 2015. It became known as the Scan Pyramids Project. Instead of using traditional excavation methods, researchers employed advanced non-invasive technologies, including infrared thermography, 3D laser scanning, and a technique called muon tomography. Muon tomography may sound complicated, but the basic idea is surprisingly simple. Every second, tiny particles called muons are produced when cosmic rays strike Earth's atmosphere. These particles constantly pass through buildings, mountains, and even pyramids. Because stone absorbs some of them, while empty spaces allow more to pass through, scientists can measure the differences and create images showing what lies inside massive structures. In many ways, the technique works like a medical CT scan, except that instead of X-rays, nature provides the particles. After months of collecting data, researchers noticed something unexpected. Above the Grand Gallery appeared a large empty space unlike anything previously documented. The discovery was announced in 2017 and immediately attracted worldwide attention. Scientists estimated that this hidden void measures at least 30 meters in length, making it one of the largest unknown spaces ever detected inside the Great Pyramid. What makes the discovery even more remarkable is that no one knows exactly what this space is. It could be a construction feature designed to reduce pressure on the chambers below. It could be an architectural corridor, or it could have served another purpose that researchers do not yet understand. At the moment, there is no scientific evidence proving that the void contains treasure, secret artifacts, or hidden burial chambers. Its purpose remains one of the greatest unanswered questions surrounding the pyramid. The discovery demonstrated something extraordinary. Even after centuries of exploration, the Great Pyramid is still revealing new secrets. Modern technology has shown that there may still be parts of this monument that no human has ever entered. And if one hidden void remained undiscovered until the 21st century, an obvious question follows. Could there be more? In recent years, researchers have continued scanning the pyramid using increasingly advanced technology, hoping to understand what still lies beyond the known chambers. The deeper scientists look, the more they realize how much remains to be discovered. And this brings us to the greatest mystery of all. If modern science can reveal hidden spaces inside the pyramid, why are so many questions still unanswered after more than 4,000 years? Even after centuries of archaeological research, the Great Pyramid continues to raise questions that have no definitive answers. One of the biggest mysteries is not who built the pyramid or when it was built. Those questions have been answered through historical records, archaeology, and radiocarbon dating. The real mystery is whether we fully understand how every part of the monument was designed and why certain architectural choices were made. Take the King's Chamber, for example. Above its flat granite ceiling are 5 small chambers, known today as the relieving chambers. These spaces were discovered during the 19th century and are believed to reduce the enormous weight pressing down on the chamber below. Without them, the ceiling might have cracked under the pressure of millions of tons of stone. Even this solution demonstrates an extraordinary understanding of engineering. The builders had to predict how weight would be distributed through the pyramid long before the structure was completed. Another fascinating feature is the network of narrow shafts extending from both the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber. For many years, researchers believed these shafts were ventilation passages. However, the King's Chamber is buried deep inside the pyramid and would not have required fresh air after construction. Modern Egyptologists generally believe these shafts had a symbolic or religious purpose. Some align closely with stars that held special significance in ancient Egyptian beliefs, although scholars continue to debate their exact meaning. In the 1990s, engineers sent small robotic vehicles into one of these narrow shafts. The robot reached a small limestone door fitted with 2 copper handles. When another robot later drilled a tiny hole through the door and inserted a camera, researchers discovered another small chamber and a second stone door beyond it. The purpose of these hidden doors remains uncertain. No evidence suggests they protect secret treasure, but they clearly indicate that the internal design of the pyramid is more complex than once believed. Another question concerns the remarkable precision of the monument itself. The four sides are aligned almost perfectly with true north. The difference between true north and the pyramid's orientation is only a tiny fraction of a degree. Even today, surveyors consider this level of accuracy extraordinary. How did ancient Egyptian architects achieve such precision without modern instruments? Several scientific explanations have been proposed. Some researchers believe they used observations of circumpolar stars. Others suggest they relied on the position of the sun during specific times of the year. Both ideas are supported by evidence, but historians have not reached complete agreement on which method was actually used. The mathematical proportions of the pyramid have also inspired countless discussions. Some writers claim the monument contains hidden knowledge about the Earth, astronomy, or advanced mathematics. However, most Egyptologists caution against drawing conclusions without direct evidence. While certain measurements are undeniably impressive, many popular claims found online are based on coincidence rather than archaeological proof. Perhaps the greatest lesson the Great Pyramid teaches us is that ancient civilizations were far more capable than many people once believed. Its builders achieved remarkable precision through careful planning, practical engineering, skilled craftsmanship, and decades of coordinated work. Their accomplishments do not require supernatural explanations to inspire admiration. In many ways, the real history is even more impressive than the legends. Yet despite everything researchers have learned, one question still remains. Could there still be undiscovered chambers hidden somewhere inside the Great Pyramid? As technology continues to improve, scientists hope future investigations may provide answers that previous generations could never obtain. Until then, the Great Pyramid remains one of humanity's greatest engineering achievements and one of its greatest archaeological mysteries. The Great Pyramid of Giza has stood for more than 4.5 millennia. Empires have risen and fallen around it. Religions have spread across continents. Entire civilizations have disappeared. Yet the pyramid remains. Over the centuries, millions of people have looked at this monument and asked the same question. How was something so extraordinary built more than 4,500 years ago? Modern archaeology has answered many of those questions. We know who ordered its construction. We know approximately when it was built. We know where most of its stone came from. We understand much more about the workers who built it and the remarkable organization required to complete such an ambitious project. Scientific discoveries over the last few decades have transformed our understanding of ancient Egypt. Instead of relying on myths, researchers now use satellite imaging, laser scanning, radiocarbon dating, ground surveys, and muon tomography to study one of history's greatest monuments. These technologies continue to reveal new information without damaging the pyramid itself. Perhaps the most exciting discovery in recent years was the identification of the large hidden void above the Grand Gallery. Its existence reminds us that even today, the Great Pyramid is still capable of surprising the scientific community. Whether this space served a structural purpose, had a religious meaning, or fulfilled another function entirely is still unknown. Future research may eventually provide the answer. The Great Pyramid teaches us an important lesson. Ancient civilizations should never be underestimated. Too often, people assume that technological progress is the only measure of intelligence. The builders of the Great Pyramid had no computers, no engines, no steel cranes, and no modern surveying equipment. Yet they created a monument that has survived longer than almost any other human-made structure on Earth. Their achievement was the result of knowledge, careful planning, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, and the determination of thousands of skilled workers. Even after centuries of research, the Great Pyramid continues to inspire new questions. Could there still be hidden chambers waiting to be discovered? Will future technology reveal parts of the monument that no human has ever seen? Or have we already uncovered most of its secrets? Only time will answer those questions. One thing, however, is certain. The Great Pyramid of Giza remains one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history and one of archaeology's most fascinating subjects. Its story is not only about ancient Egypt, it is a story about human curiosity, a story about innovation, a story about what people can accomplish when knowledge, organization, and determination come together. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary and want to explore more mysteries, discoveries, and remarkable moments from ancient history, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Our next journey will take us even deeper into the world's greatest historical mysteries. See you in the next documentary.